Joining me is Australia's top finance writer, Terry McCrann of the Herald Sun. Terry, solved this mystery for me. $50 billion the Albanese government didn't expect, and there is the Treasurer with a long face.
Well, it's a real puzzle, isn't it, Andrew? I think the answer lies in the fact that the good news belongs to the previous government. This is all about what the outcome would be, what it was under the previous government, because this covers the period up to the end of June, the financial year 21-22, and the previous government was in charge up until the end of May, almost the end of May. So really, the Treasurer had a problem. How was he going to announce this wonderful news without actually attributing it to the previous Treasurer and the previous government? Now, one of it was the windfall, one half of it was the windfall from higher iron ore and coal prices. Now, gee whiz, higher iron ore and coal prices. I wonder, but this is a government that wants to get rid of those coal exports over time, and iron ore is only of any use to anybody if they mix it with coal, creating CO2 to make steel. So the other aspect of all this, Andrew, is that the good news numbers from yesterday, as in what happened previously, might come into rather sharp contrast with what the government is going to announce in its budget in the end of October. Now, I don't know that the Treasurer would want us to be too focused on the comparison, because we might start to think, are we about to replay what happened in 2007, 2008, when they inherited the very good news of a budget in surplus and zero debt? And what did they do with it? They created big budget deficits and big debt. Now, true, they were ambushed by the GFC, but they never got on top of the budget after the GFC experience. In this case, it looked like the previous government was beginning to get on top of the spending from the COVID period. So what are we going to see from the Treasurer in October? I'm going to suggest now we're going to see numbers that are not going to look quite so great, particularly when we compare them with what they inherited from the previous Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg.
How interesting. You solved the mystery. Of course, you didn't want to say, thank you, Josh Frydenberg, for the 50 bill that I wasn't expecting. No wonder. One other thing, Terry. The Morrison government cut, Josh Frydenberg, cut the petrol excise by half temporarily to cut the cost of living pressures with inflation going up and up and up and all that. And that cut was worth 22 cents a litre. That ends next week. It was temporary. It ends next week. Now, Jim Chalmers, the new Treasurer, says he can't afford to keep that cut in excise going. It's, it's coming back. But says, don't worry, petrol prices next week shouldn't rise by just the full 20 cents, 22 cents. Shouldn't rise by the full 22 cents. Here he's explaining why.
It's that there'll be more than 700 million litres of lower excise fuel in the system when the fuel excise is reintroduced. This is 700 million reasons why the price shouldn't shoot up by the full 23 cents on the night that the excise relief ends. That there are hundreds of millions of litres of fuel underground in tanks that was purchased at the lower price, and so the ACCC and the government expect that the price of petrol shouldn't shoot up at the Bowser on Wednesday night by the full 23 cents.
Now, Terry, so what do you expect to happen to petrol prices next week? Or really, is Chalmers just, massaging expectations? What will the price of petrol be the week after?
Exactly. He's grasping at straws. Yes, on the immediate day when the petrol excise goes back up by 22 cents, petrol prices shouldn't go up by all that. And it's actually 24 cents and a bit, Andrew, because there's the GST on top of the 22 cents. So it's 24.2 cents to be exact. No, they shouldn't. The petrol prices shouldn't jump immediately because, as he says, there's a lot of petrol in the tank, in the various tanks around the country. But that's only a short-term reprieve. As soon as that petrol is fed out to motorists and they replenish the petrol in their service stations, that will be full tote odds. The full excise will have been paid on that petrol, and it may be a week, it may be 2 weeks, but petrol prices will go up by the 24 cents. Second point about this, Andrew, of course, is that he owns the decision. It's entirely the government's choice, not to extend the cut in the petrol excise. As you said, they've got $50 billion. Thank you very much, Josh Frydenberg. They could use a very small portion of that to extend the petrol excise by another 6 months, for example. It would cost around $3 billion. What he is saying is we have other choices. We want to spend out the money the way we choose to spend it. It's entirely on his head that the petrol price will go up, if not by 24 cents immediately, certainly by 24 cents once the excise flows through.
Terry, you are so correct. I felt we were being played with there. Thank you so much for your time.